Hey guys, this is Miss Nelson here with your second music theory lesson of the week. Today we're going to be talking about bass clef note names and lines and spaces. Now I know some of y'all, especially the ladies, are not as comfortable with reading bass clef just because you don't have to do it every day in class. Um, but it's really no harder than treble clef. You just have to learn a slightly different set of rules. And once you know those rules, then you know bass clef for life. And do keep in mind that bass clef note names are going to be on your music theory exam for your choir placement audition for next year, so it's totally worth the time to get to know those and get comfortable. So without further ado, this is the bass clef, also known as the F clef, because the staff line in between the two dots of the clef is F. So dot, dot, and then there's your F. So now that we have our F, we can now fill in the rest of the notes. So F, G, A, etc., etc. Okay. One quick trick that I like to use because I started out as a treble clef reader is I look at what note it would be in treble clef and then I go up two. So for example, this would be D in treble clef. So from D I go E, F, and then that's what it is in bass clef. Same thing with your G. It's going to be E in treble clef. So from E I go F, G, and now I have my G in bass clef. A, it would be F in treble clef. So I go F, G, A, and there's my A in bass clef. So Miss Aguirre talked about this part a little bit in the last lesson, but we're going to briefly look at it again. So this is middle C in both treble clef and in bass clef. So I can use this as a reference whether I'm in bass clef or in treble clef. So for example, if I'm in bass clef, I start with middle C and I go down B, A, G, F, etc. If I'm in treble clef, I start with middle C in the same place and go up D, E, F, G. So that's another really simple way to do it. So Miss Aguirre talked about accidentals a little bit in her last lesson. So she showed you as a review what those look like. Obviously, you already know from class, but the same thing applies in bass clef. So if there were a sharp in front of this note, it would be F sharp. If there were a flat in front of this note, it would be, you guessed it would be G flat. So the same rules apply. And make sure that the flat or the sharp goes on the same line or space as the note it applies to. Okay. So next you're going to do your exercises, which I'm going to link those in with your assignment so that you can get to them, and hope you enjoyed learning more about bass clef note names and lines and spaces. Have a great day, everyone.